there were a few notes that came through saying that people couldn't really see what I was doing on the recordings, and that it was a little bit small on Trailhead. Is this? I just want to ask before I go zooming in, if this is easier to see. I can imagine it probably is. And I better open up the chat so I can keep an eye on things. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to session, what are we on? Session 5. My goodness. So that means we have done almost, this is going to, when we finish today, this will have been 10 hours so far of training that you will have had. So thank you very much for sticking with it. And the fact that you've not given up just yet is a massive thank you from me. Welcome back, everybody. And I hope that you'll enjoy today, because today we're going to be taking a look at Sales Cloud. And we're also going to fix top trailblazers. Yeah, let's do that. So just a quick recap of what we did last week. Last week, we spent some time doing a tour. We looked around Salesforce as we would if we were a user. We also looked into more detail about accounts and account hierarchies. We created list views. We worked on a report, which excited some of you, which is fantastic to see. And also, we took a look at Chatter as well. We did some. We had a very quick tour of Chatter. Don't worry, I'll make up for it, because I'm going to set you some homework on it a bit later. And we also looked at contacts as well, and how we can use contacts for creating activities, recording events and tasks, and so on. So up to this point, I would imagine that you should be starting to feel a little bit more familiar with Salesforce, certainly after last week's homework as well. And if you're not sure how to access the homework, you just come to the site, the Google site here, and you'll see that if you scroll down, there's loads of information here, including the dates that we meet. So you'll see a calendar here. And also, if you click on homework and recordings, you will see you can get to it through the top there, or you can get to it through the button on the home page. But you'll see the current week's homework on the left and the current week's recordings on the right. And underneath, you will see also I've linked the modules that we've been following through each session as we go. So if you're not sure how to get to those modules, just come back to this page and you'll see it all there. You just gotta open your eyes and look, people, and you're all good. Last week I introduced a bonus homework badge as well. So I set you lightning experience for closers, which is all about.
We can't see the screen, Gemma.
No, okay. Oh my God, sorry. Thank you. God, I keep doing that. Thank you. 2 seconds. I just get all excited, don't I? Okay, can you see it now? It's coming. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia, for linking the site. So you just go to your homework and recordings. You'll open up this week's recordings, and then on this week's homework and recordings. On the left, you'll see the homework, and I've linked it directly there. So if you're not sure how to get to it, just click on it. It'll open in a new tab, and you can get on with it. On the right, you will see the recordings. So all of these recordings are being put onto my YouTube channel, and then I'm just linking them in here so that you can get to them. And this is designed to just be one place to go for everything that you need. And you'll see underneath, I've linked the Trailhead modules that we've been doing as well, the ones that go with each session, so that you can follow along. Some people have asked me questions about how do they get to the Trailhead modules. They can't see the modules, etc. It's all there. You just have to open your eyes. And then you scroll down a little bit, and I added, because we had such a great conversation on Wednesday last week about, I love this. Kat says I'm super organized. hilarious. And then on the we were having a brilliant conversation about Trailblazer community groups last week, and how you can get involved in user groups for your local area, and how you can, if you work at university or you're a student, you can actually get involved in running a student community group as well. So I threw in a bonus badge for Trailblazer community groups. And if you have any questions, you just literally click on questions, and you can get to it from the top as well here. And you'll see, if you scroll down past the top Trailblazers stuff, here is the questions and answers sheet. So there's myself and some volunteers are keeping an eye on this for you. So if you do have any questions that you want to ask out of hours, I've put notifications onto this, so I get told when someone's changed it. So I'll pop in and have a look. Now I'm going to start today's session with a second attempt at getting you all to push your badges for top Trailblazers. As you can see, I gave you all the wrong instructions for the push badges bookmark, so I'm really sorry about that. I've posted the instructions onto the questions and answers, and some of you have rather brilliantly gone through and already been able to sync your badges. There's a lot more people there that I'm seeing there this week than I have done to date. So now my goal is to get you all doing it. So I'm going to get you to come along with me. If you go to the site, which Alicia has very kindly linked in the chat, just click on the link that Alicia has put in there, and it will bring you to the Google site here, which has all of the resources that you need for this course. And please click on Stuck, Ask a Question. Now you'll see in the first half, it starts with my apology for messing up and giving you the wrong link for top Trailblazers in week 1. What I'd like you to do is go open up your trailblazer.me profile. And if you're not sure how to get there, just open up Trailhead and then go to visit your profile. And eventually when it loads, I suspect I've got too many windows open. There we go. And I've zoomed right in, guys, so that you can see things a bit better. Click on your profile. And then just make a note of what comes after the second slash on your .me link here, which is shown on your profile. So mine it goes trailblazer.me/ID/, then it should have your name on it, or whichever name you've assigned yourself. So mine is Gemma. Just make a mental note of that. Then come back to the site and copy this link. And where it says your Trailhead name, I want you to replace that with your name from the end of your URL. So for example, mine will be Gemma. Yours might be Hannah. So you just copy that. I'll show you how I'll change that. So copy, open up a new tab, paste, and then I'm just going to take this, your Trailhead name and the brackets, and put Gemma. Funny thing is I claimed Gemma the day they released the Trailhead URL, like that morning. And you just press that, and it will bring you to a secret page. This is where what I want you to do next is to hold down your mouse over the link that says push badges to TT. Now this is going to create your very, very unique to you JavaScript, which is what we talked about in the first thing, and I pasted mine foolishly, and actually it only worked for me. You notice how I'm dragging that, so I'm just clicking on it, holding it down, and then dragging it up into my browser until I get a green plus sign, and I'm going to drop it there. And then I'm going to click push badges to TT. It's going to say you must be on Trailhead. Do you want to redirect? So I say OK. It will take me back to my Trailhead profile. I don't know why you're getting a 500 internal server error. It sounds like you might not have the right name on it. Jeremy and Hannah, can you please link what you put into your browsers? I don't think your profile is public. Stephen, you're right. Okay. Oh. Jeremy Fink. Right, I'm clicking on yours, Jeremy. Oh, yeah, I've got that link. Okay, Jeremy, are you sure that's definitely your... Okay, can you try what Hannah's put? Hannah says she's missing /u. No, I think okay, I'm going to carry on. So it will take you to your profile, and then you just hit push badges to TT. Now the other possibility is that you haven't added yourself to the group yet. That's another possibility. So if you haven't added yourself to the coronavirus course group, what I want you to do, I'm going to copy this link and put it in the chat, because I've made this group public now so that you can add yourselves. So that may be why you're getting an internal server error, because it's not finding you on Top Trailblazers platform. So if you click that link, it will bring you to the page here, which is the actual leaderboard, and you scroll down to the bottom. And as it loads, you will see a button at the bottom called Join Community. And if you just click that button and then try and push your badges again, hopefully it should work. I'm already seeing a lot more data in here, which is really positive. Okay, those of you who say you didn't get the green light, do you mean that you didn't get the green cross sign? Do you have to push it? You have to click and drag it up to your browser in here as a bookmark. Okay, I'm gonna do it again, just one more time. So you want to go to, I'm going to paste, and I'm going to put my username here. This link bring you to this page. Drag and drop push badges to TT link to your bookmark bar. So you just push the mouse down and drag it up here into the area of your browser below the address bar. So you'll get, and those of you who've managed to do it, you'll get your flag once you link yourself in. Because regardless of when you've been able to link yourself, you will still get your badges that you completed during that first week. Okay, let's go and have a look and see how many of you have managed to do it. Okay, we're getting a lot more now. Hannah, I'm just going to test you because you said yours was working. Okay, yours hasn't synced yet. Okay. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to have to get some further support, because oh, okay, you weren't in the group. Yeah, make sure you're in the group when you do it. Okay, and if you're still struggling with it, please put it in the quick Q&A, and we may have to do. There is a video as well on the questions and answers here. There is a video that tells you what to do there. So please keep trying, because this is because lots of other people are managing to do it. So you just need to make sure that you've joined the community and then that you've followed the instructions in the video. If you're still stuck after that, then I will need to escalate. Okay, Hannah, I'm going to try you one more time. It may well just be queuing as well. There you go, Hannah. I can see your one badge. Woohoo! So this is looking a lot better already. Okay, you ready to do some more learning, everybody? Woo! Okay, keep trying, guys, because it may be that it's just taking a minute to think as well. So just while we're here, I'm going to look at the event that we set for the first week and see what we've got so far. Okay, so far Zainab is pushing on ahead with the points. She did 10 badges during that week. And you can see how it's quite cool the way it tracks how you're doing and so on. So looks like somebody's getting some swag. Okay, shall we push on then, and let's have a look at what we're going to do next. I am going to go to my trail mix. This week we are going to be looking at leads and opportunities. Let me just get this up. I don't know why it says lightning with an E, because that's not correct. Anyway, so this module this week is called Leads and Opportunities for Lightning Experience. So if you could please go to Trailhead and just either search for Leads and Opportunities for Lightning Experience, please. Those of you who are following along in the meeting, I've put the link directly in the chat for you as well. So please all make sure that you're logged into Trailhead for me, please. And this week, we're going to look at what leads are, why we would use leads, why we would convert leads, and their role in the Sales Cloud application within Salesforce. So last week, we talked about accounts and contacts. We also talked about tracking activities, and we looked at list views and reports as a concept. This week, I want to introduce the business concept of lead conversion. Now, I know I've demonstrated this to you before, so this time we're actually going to go ahead and try together. Now, let me just open up my hands-on org again, which I'm going to open up a different window, close all the windows I don't need right now, just to save on bandwidth. And we're going to open up the first part of the module, which is called Create and Convert Leads. Which one am I working on? I'm working on Resourceful Wolf. Resourceful Blue Wolf. Right, so after this unit, we're going to be able to, hopefully you should have a better understanding of how leads fit in the sales process, what happens when you convert a lead, create and be able to create and convert leads. Now, does anybody here remember what the difference is between a lead and an account, please? That's correct, Samira. A lead is not qualified yet. Betsy, an account can be a converted lead, not always, but it often is. Yeah. And what happens to a lead once it has been converted? That's correct. So it does get turned into an account and a contact. Anything else? That's correct. You can create an opportunity as well. And Natasha, that's correct. And Sharon, that's correct. You cannot change the lead once it's been converted. It is locked and it can't be reversed. So that is designed to just reflect the fact that someone who was interested in your product or service then went on to become far more interested and joined the sales process, if that makes sense. So let's talk about sales processes. No two companies sell the same way, but all companies want to sell, find, keep customers, right? And the whole point of Salesforce is having the ability to track how that works. Now, we obviously learned about leads by following a lead record from it being created all the way through to it being converted in an earlier session. So I'm not going to cover that in a lot of detail today. But what I wanted to talk to, and we also looked at Path and Kanban last week as well as ways to manage your leads. But the way that, why do people have leads? You can find them in a number of ways. You can go, you could, in normal life, i.e. non-virus related life, you could meet a lead at a conference. It could be someone who comes up to your stand and asks you questions about the products and services that you offer, might agree to have a meeting with you later on to talk about it in more detail, you know, and might therefore also go on to become might also become opportunities for you to sell to them. But not all companies use them, you see. One of the typical things that you can, there are some companies that do work their entire pipeline as opportunities, and I've worked with many of those companies in my consulting career, because one of the biggest conversations that happens when we first start speaking to customers about how they want to use Salesforce is that they there's a big discussion about what's the difference between a lead, an opportunity, a marketing qualified lead, and a sales qualified lead. And a lot of companies want to track, you know, they want to track the productivity of their marketing department, their business development department, and then their sales and account management department separately using the same process. So there are some companies that work their whole pipeline as opportunities, but you're in a much stronger position to target marketing campaigns to leads. You've got a much better understanding of the quality of those leads when you can see how the percentage of them that are actually being converted. So we're going to add a lead. If you could please follow along with me, we're going to open up our playgrounds, and to do that you just look on the right hand side where it says challenge and just tap that, and you will see this challenge here. So let's go ahead and launch our playground. Let me just yeah, I think the rest of this module I've actually already shown you before. So we're going to just get you guys actually creating one now and converting it yourselves. So, and I'm not going to show you this time. I'm going to, because I've shown you once before, so I'm going to get you guys to do that yourselves. So what I want you to do is go to your org and create a new lead. Can anyone tell me how we do that? Where's the first place we go? That's right, Natasha, we need to go to the lead tab. That's correct. So if you click on the lead tab, you should see a drop down that says new. Now let's see, this is going to be really sad if I can do this from memory. And you hit new, and you should see the rest of the screen should go dark apart from a short form. And what I'd like you to do is name your lead Chantal Smith. And if you're just using if you're using two screens, I will copy and paste that data into the chat for you so that you can keep an eye on it. And Chantal's company is called Get Cloudy South. Then I would like you to change Chantal Smith's lead status to working contacted. And once you've done that, save your lead. And then I'd like you to add a task on Chantal Smith's record. Would anybody like to share their screen and take one for the team and do it for everyone else? Sure. Okay, Kat, I'm going to make you presenter. And if you'd like to unmute yourself. I'm going to have to come and find you. Ah, there you are. Okay. All right, Kat, I'm unable to unmute you. So when you're ready, you just hit present now.
There we go. That was way too complicated. Okay, present now.
Yeah, good shout.
Your entire screen a window. Which window am I doing? This window, Chantal Smith.
Sure.
Toot toot. Okay. Can you see anything? No, not yet. It's presenting.
There we go. You're presenting. Okay. So
loading. You can see?
Yep.
This screen? Woo! It's weird because I can just see like my face. Okay, what am I doing?
So you've created your lead.
Log a call. I need the instructions. Give me instructions.
Okay.
And then I add, yeah.
You created.
Call Miss Smith, due date, any future date.
That's right. So you're going to create a task.
Right. New task. Yay. Subject. Call Miss Smith. I thought company name was Get Cloudy Smith, and I was like, that's a funny name because of surnames.
Okay, the due date can be any date in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's it, save.
And then let's go back to Trailhead and check your challenge.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yay! 500 points. Go me.
Nice. Okay. Do you want to keep going?
My husband is cheering for me in the background. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Tackle the next challenge.
So let's keep going. So
okay.
The next challenge is to, in fact, if you keep looking at your screen, I'm then going to talk you through opportunities next. So can you scroll up for me, Kat? Have we lost you?
Sorry.
Can you scroll up for me?
No. Right.
Thank you. So let's talk about opportunities. Opportunities are basically deals that are in progress, and you can create opportunities for accounts that already exist. So those are known as upsell or cross-sell, or even could be, do you remember we talked about the different types of accounts that you can have last week, where we said you could have an account where the type is active prospect or inactive prospect or dead lead or devoted customer. And so once there is an account that's already there, or even during lead convert, we can actually create an opportunity to represent the fact that we are trying or have tried or have sold to a customer. Now, let's have a look at how opportunities can be used to track deals, and how it's easier to understand when you can understand the concept of a sales process. So out of the box, Salesforce gives you a bunch of different opportunity stages. And this is based very much on a value-based progressive sales cycle, where you are completing certain activities at each stage in order to secure that deal when you're working with a customer. There are other sales opportunities I've worked on before, where they might represent donations in a fundraising setting. Or they might represent individual transactions if you're looking at kind of a B2B2C kind of environment. So let's say you're selling wine, then some people have chosen to use opportunities to reflect the fact that they sold the wine. What we tend to gravitate towards more towards these days is if you've got a sales cycle that is, no matter how long or short it is, the purpose of an opportunity is to enable forecasting. And if you've ever worked in a sales department, you'll know that that actually one of that many salespeople are targeted on their pipeline, so the number of deals and the value of the deals that they expect to bring in for that company. But they're also targeted on forecast accuracy. How well are they understanding the customer's needs? How well are they able to match those needs to a product that your business is offering? and how much is that opportunity moving about, like throughout that deal. And it's, for a salesperson, it's really important to track that information, especially if because sales managers and businesses need to understand what's coming in order to make decisions about what to do next. Especially, for example, I'm in a startup mode right now. So if I've got a lot of opportunities that are dropping because if I'm bringing in opportunities and then I'm losing them, I need to understand why so that I can change tactics. If I'm putting a lot of opportunities in where I think I could sell quite a long project, but then it turns out not to be, I'll be wondering, what conversations led to that happening. So these are sort of the reasons why businesses want to track opportunities. So in this scenario, there's a picture of a couple of people from Get Cloudy Consulting who are interested in buying some trainers or sneakers from different product lines. And as a salesperson, you've got to start putting together a package that meets their needs that they want to buy. Whenever you convert your lead, as standard, your opportunity status will default to prospecting. Prospecting is effectively they're interested enough to say that there is an opportunity there, but you're just figuring out what they want at the moment. As it goes without saying that as you work that deal through the different stages, there's a probability of closure is being calculated, and that is aligned to the different sales stages. For example, if you can actually estimate how likely a deal is to close based upon how far down the cycle they are. If you've quoted to them, you're a bit more likely to win it than you would have been if you were just finding out what they wanted. So the whole point of Salesforce is that and this is actually the core, one of the majority of reasons why people want to use Salesforce is for this functionality. They want to track their stages. They want to track buying behavior. They want to track selling behavior, and the best way for them to do that is through activities and through opportunity stages. And so not everybody's process is the same, and there can be different stages for new business versus renewal business. For example, you wouldn't necessarily prospect if you're let's say you sell a subscription to a customer and then a year later you want to renew them. Well, when it comes to a year's time, you still know from previous experience what those needs are. What your job is to do next is to figure out whether those needs are still relevant and produce a quote for the next year. So your stages will be different, can be different between a new renewal opportunity versus a new opportunity. So you can actually set up different sales processes for each type of sale. And in this example, it talks about having one sales process to handle, standard retail orders for large quantities of shoes, so like bulk buy, versus small and custom shoe orders. Okay, so we're going to start by making sure we've got an opportunity record. So if you want to follow along for me, Kat, you're the driver. If you go to the opportunities tab, click new for me, please. This actually really helps, just as a little twist. Okay, now there are different ways that you can create a new opportunity. There's this particular way where you have to go and link it to the right account, or what you can do is go and visit the account record directly and produce an opportunity. Now for this one, why is it telling have we converted it? We haven't converted the lead, have we? So yeah, let's go ahead and convert this lead, and then that will produce an account. And it will also enable us to produce the opportunity that we want to create. So let's go ahead and click that. So you can see on this screen that you've got the option to create a new account, or you can create or attach it to an existing one. You've got a new contact that's going to be created, or you can actually merge this with an existing contact. And then you have a new opportunity. So let's give the opportunity a name. Yeah, so it's going to be called Get Cloudy space 50 custom sneakers.
Wow.
9 million bicycles.
How did you get to this convert lead section?
Top right hand corner, Hannah, you've got follow, convert, edit, new case. You just hit convert and it will bring up this little screen here.
Okay.
Now, do you notice at the bottom left, I don't want you to click anything, but I just want to bring your attention to record owner. So Kat, because you created this lead and you are the owner, and when you convert this lead, you will by default be the owner, but you can make that owner someone else. And as I said before, if you're in a telemarketing situation, you could assign that to someone who will go and visit the customer. And we actually see a lot of people being targeted and paid commission based on metrics like that. So if Kat has managed to convert 20 leads in a month and her target is 15, then she's quids in for the month.
Winning.
Okay. So click convert for me. And then the system will go away and think. So when it does the little round snowflake, bouncy balls, it will. That's because it's doing some work in the background at the database level. So it's actually writing to the database and it's writing an account with a contact with an opportunity. Okay, so Kat has just clicked on the contact on the account, which is a really great place to click actually, because it helps to contextualize things. Do you remember you had that task to call Mrs. Smith when she was a lead? Notice how that's come over into the account. Chantel Smith is now a contact, and you can go and update her information if you want. And there is also an opportunity. So let's click on that opportunity. And you notice also that the close date has defaulted itself as well. So when you open that opportunity, you have got you've got a header amount, which header highlights panel, which tells you the name, the close date, the amount, and the owner. You can change that yourself one day. I'll show you later. Then you have the path, which is all of your sales stages being shown. And it's just a very quick way for you to change the stage if and when you want to. And then you have immediately what Salesforce have done here is try to default it to information that they think salespeople will want to see first. They want to see the activity on that straight away. Let's click on the details tab. Are you all right, Hannah?
I can't. Well, I clicked on things, but I didn't get that page.
Okay. Did you convert it?
Yeah, but I don't know if I did it right.
Okay. What can you see? Can you see an account?
Oh, okay. Hold on. I think I've got it. I think. Details. Yeah, got it.
That's it. Okay. So remember you can remind yourself as to what object you're looking at based upon which tab is highlighted at the top, but also the top left-hand corner where you've got the crown, the yellow crown. That means you're looking at an opportunity, and you'll get different symbols for different objects. So you'll notice as well, there's some default information that gets put into this opportunity. So there's always an owner. There has to be a name, otherwise a record can't exist. And you'll notice that it's related to an account. An opportunity can't just float around the system by itself. It has to be related to an account. Opportunities also always have a stage and a close date, and they also always have a probability. And the probability is directly attached to the stage. So when we set up sales processes, we have great big meetings about tell us about your sales process. Well, what's the likelihood of it closing? Because actually a lot of sales managers take the amount of an opportunity and multiply it by that probability when they look at forecasting how much revenue is coming through the door. Because they don't want to say for sure that, you know, if you have a deal that's £10 and it's the probability of it closing is 10%, then actually you want your forecast to reflect that, to say, oh, actually I only, you know, it's technically only £1 that I can conservatively rely upon right now in terms of what's coming through the door. Okay, Kat, you're still with me. So select the stage, which is called needs analysis. And this is the stage where you start to understand your customer a bit better. Now, you have got 2 ways to do that. Can you show us one of the ways? Okay, so you're clicking on stage 3 in the path. How do you commit that into the database? Okay, so you click mark as current stage. That's correct. Are there any other ways that you can change the stage of an opportunity to reflect where it is in the sales cycle?
I don't.
Think about the number of ways that you have to change data on the record.
Oh, here as well.
Yep. Okay. So you just clicked on the little pencil and then changed the stage from there. Okay. Yep. That's correct. Now, every time you save that record, the system writes to the database. So Salesforce, your browser, writes back to the database, sends a message to the Salesforce database. And what that means is that we can also make funky things happen when you save that record. And in the future, I'm going to show as we go through the course, I'm going to show you the sorts of things you can do with that. We can make emails fly out. I have had invoices be produced out of thin air that have then produced a document and then sent it to the customer.
So then when?
Okay. Is there anything else that you can notice on this page, Kat? Just talk us through what you can see and what you feel it means on this page.
Well, it would be pretty interesting to see like the products listed. Although is this the products they'd be interested in, the ones that we're offering them, just related in general? And then the stage history. So I guess what's happened on here, and then created it, modified it, what account it's attached to. I guess you can play around with if anyone's talked about it. I don't know what partners means. Maybe as well someone that's associated with the account or someone you'd be selling alongside, perhaps.
Yeah, option 2. So it would be somebody you're selling alongside, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
Okay. I guess this is for support cases.
Where?
Or is this something else?
Yes, that's for support cases, but there's one related list that you haven't mentioned yet.
Not sure. Chatter?
Not quite. When I say related lists, where are we looking?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So related list is a list of items that are related. We haven't talked about contact roles yet. So on this opportunity, looking at this opportunity sales manager, what does contact roles tell me? Put you right on the spot here, sorry.
Yeah, so it tells me, I guess, no, that's all right. I'm not sure what is, here it is, contact roles. So I guess this is the primary contact, the account, and then you can also have.
Yeah. And do you understand why we call this a customer relationship management system? Because we have to understand if we're trying to sell to somebody, or we're trying to solve a case, or we're trying to manage an account, we have to understand the roles that our customers play and the contacts that our customers play in securing those deals. And you'll see, and that's right, Rob, that's the functional role of the person who's involved in the opportunity or involved in the account. So it just helps you to leave a paper trail behind. So if you get hit by a bus tomorrow and somebody has to take over your account, they know that the person they need to speak to is Chantel Smith. Perhaps she's not a decision maker, but perhaps she can influence it in some way. So it helps you understand who you need to speak to and what level of authority they have in terms of deciding whether or not to buy. Any questions about that from
The way I've seen this set up was actually,
No, go for it.
sorry, it was just actually, it was set up for like so it was like king, queen, pawn, knight, like that sort of thing, because that was the way that the sales guys thought about the different people.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So that's the sort of thing that you can do. You can change those backstage, if you like, to whatever makes sense for your company. In my own org, I've got different roles here for people I work with at Salesforce who might be selling licenses to my customer. But then there's other companies who have built apps on the platform who might also be involved in a deal with me, because they're perhaps positioning their package, their App Exchange package, for the customer to use as well. So I might use contact roles to do that. Okay, so there's something else, and then something else I want to talk to you about, which probably isn't enabled at the moment. So if you want to save that for me, Kat, and thank you, round of applause for Kat.
I think I have saved it though. Large stage is complete, or was I meant to edit her in some way?
No, you're good. Just leave it as it is for now. That's perfect. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you. You can sit back down and enjoy the rest of the lesson. Great job. And thank you for stepping up. I want to talk to you about teams as well.
No worries.
Sales teams are really, really interesting because they work in a very similar way to contact roles, but they're internal. Can you all see my screen? You can't see my screen. Okay, no problem. I'm going to switch it on. Oh, it says stop sharing. I'll stop sharing. Present now.
I think you've got to make yourself, presenter.
Okay. Okay, can you see it? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, everyone's saying yes.
I guess it's loading.
Okie dokie. Thank you, everybody. So what we just looked at was contact roles and how important they can be in terms of selling to people. But there is another feature of opportunities, which is really interesting as well. Now, at the moment, this is switched off. But there's a feature that you can use, which is called opportunity team selling. Kat, I'm just going to put you on mute again, if that's all right. Cool, you're on mute. Cool. And I'm going to go and quickly switch that on backstage just so that I can show you and talk to you about a couple of use cases for this. When I was an admin working with I think about 200 salespeople, they had what was known as what we would describe as a private sharing model. So it was a highly competitive sales environment where users were not allowed to change each other's opportunities. They were allowed to see them, but they could change them. And that was really to prevent people nicking each other's opportunities. Because once they changed the owner, it was effectively theirs, and then they'd get the credit for it because we reported on commission based on the owner of the record. Now, it'll be under Object Manager. So what we had was we actually had this alternative way of creating opportunity teams. Now, last week we talked about account teams. And the ability to have a default account team. So we talked about the pod situation where we had someone out in the field who would own the account records, and then a sales support person, like their pod partner, was based in the office. And we put them on the default account team so that any accounts you owned, your sales support person would also be on the account team as your sales support person. And then we would build reports on their activity throughout the sales process. Well, there's a very similar kind of thing for opportunities as well, which is called opportunity team selling. I think if I just say teams, yeah. So to do that, we have to go and switch it on before we can use it. So I'm going to switch it on now. You're welcome to follow along if you want to. Another reason this is important is in that sharing model that I talked about, where people were nicking each other's opportunities, so we had to make it so they couldn't change anything that wasn't their own. This actually enabled it enabled you to loop in other teams to come and help you with that sale, and made it so that they could actually make changes to that opportunity if you trusted them to do so. So we would do that by just adding that person to the opportunity team. So I've just switched that on, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to refresh, because anything I change backstage doesn't get picked up front stage until I refresh the front stage page. So please remember that. And when I look back at this opportunity, what I just did was enabled it and told the related list to go on the page layouts. And you'll see on the right hand side a new related list has just appeared, which is called opportunity team. So if I hit this little drop down here and I can either add a default opportunity team, I can add people who are on my account team, or I can add opportunity team members manually if I want to. Now this is internal, this is based on other users. So remember, contact roles is to do with looping in other contacts. Team selling is about looping in other users who work in your organization. Again, you can define different roles for them. So you'll see here, I can have a role for account manager, an executive sponsor. I can recognize another sales rep who's helping me with it. Perhaps I'm ramping somebody up. They're new in the job and I'm teaching them, but I still want them to be reflected on the opportunities that they're working on, because I'm measured on how I onboard people. Maybe that's in my targets, maybe that's in my development plan, all sorts of reasons that you can put in there. And you notice, as I keep talking about all these different scenarios, you see how much you can apply to Salesforce. This is why consultants have such a great time earning money, going off and talking to companies about how they want to implement this, right? This is why we want you to learn these skills so you can take these ideas away and teach other people. So here's a sales support role. And remember, I had Dave Stevens. Dave Stevens is my sales support person. And let's say I want to give him read-write access to my opportunity. I can do that and hit save. Okay, so now Dave is recognized in that way. Now there's something else that we used to do, which we don't need to do anymore, because there's something else you can do for it. But sometimes salespeople split their commission with other people. And that's another important reason that we used to use this because we used to have a pre-sales and a post-sales team, and we used to sell subscriptions to data. So we used to set up an opportunity that would represent that whole subscription for the year. We would use different reporting to represent the amount we were earning every month. But then we would loop in people who had worked on the post-sales team as opportunity team members, so that they would get recognition for their contribution to the deal and they would get paid on it. Now you've got a feature called revenue splits, which enables you to do that, but that's a bit more advanced for now, for where we are now. So this is basically what in this module, this is what selling as a team is all about. That sometimes it takes a village, and if you work with the same co-workers on your opportunities, you can have a default team and automatically add them, or and it talks about opportunity splits. So shall we go ahead and have a go at our opportunity and contact role? So I want you to go and create a new opportunity against your Get Cloudy account. And if you haven't converted your lead just yet, please go ahead and convert it into an account and call it Get Cloudy. Hopefully you might actually still have that from a previous. Yeah, here's my account. And to do that, I'm just going to go and visit the account directly, just because it's easier that way. Or you can do what Kat did and go to the Opportunities tab. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see a bit better. Okay. And I'm going to go to Related, and I'm going to scroll to Opportunities. I'm going to hit New. And I'm going to call it Get Cloudy 24 Holiday Sneakers, because why not? And And the account needs to be Get Cloudy. The stage is value proposition. So just change that in the stage. And you need to put in a close date because otherwise it just won't like you. So I'm going to put in the 14th of April. And I'm going to save it. Good practice here. Make sure that you fill in the type. Make sure that you fill in the lead source. When you're an administrator, you can actually make these fields required. So you don't have to go and beat salespeople with a stick for not doing it. Or if you want to create great behaviors, you can actually have the fact that
already.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. If you want to incentivize, you can actually you could create a little magic formula field that looks to see if there's any data in all of these and then assigns a score. There's loads you can do here. And then you could actually bake the score into their commission if you were feeling so inclined. So now that I've created my opportunity, there's one other thing we have to do. We have to go and add a new contact role for Alan Johnson, as he is the decision maker. So we're going to go back to our opportunity and click on it if you haven't already. And scroll down. And on the right-hand side, you've got your list views. Your related lists. So you go to contact roles, press the little drop down, and hit add contact roles. Okay. So it's going to load up the two contacts that it has found against the same account, so against the Get Cloudy account. So we have Lung and we have Alan. I'm just going to click Alan and hit next. I think I'm going to set you guys a project to model.
Did we have those two people up there already?
You should do if you've been following along to date, because I think last week we created the account and the contacts.
Right. So I'm not supposed to, okay, so I don't have them. I didn't have this one in yet.
Oh, okay, babes. No worries. You can always go and create it.
So I just add those two people in now?
Sure, yeah. So you just add the account if you haven't already. And then add the two contacts in, or add the one contact in if you want. You just need Alan at this stage. And Alan is a decision maker. So we're going to track his role as being a decision maker, and we're going to hit save. And there he is on the right. Everything's reloading. And then when you're ready, you just check the challenge, and hopefully you will have some confetti. It's funny, last week when I recompleted one of these, I posted it onto Twitter and I got like 10 likes. It was really funny. Someone said, oh, back to basics then.
So just to check, would he still be on this Get Cloudy account if I was adding him as a new contact now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, hopefully you've all got some confetti now, yes? Yeah. Okay, well done, everyone. Round of applause. We have completed, sorry, our next badge. So well done. Okay, just thinking about what's the next one to do. I think let's have a look at some productivity best practices. Is everybody up to date with this one now? I'll have one more. Visualize success with path and Kanban. Yeah, apologies. Thank you very much, Betsy. And Kat. Okay, so when you've got your confetti, click earn more badges. It should take you to this final one, and then we're going to move on to another badge. So this one is about path and Kanban, which we looked at in a previous module. Can anyone tell me what path is? Hannah, I'm just going to mute you, Han.
Sorry.
All right. Sales funnel. Almost, not quite. Sales funnel's like a report or or a chart that you can use to track what's coming in the top of the funnel. That's right, Afshan, it is the steps. Yeah, Natasha, it shows the stages, correct. Samira, yes, it's the stages and steps. Now, where can I find it on my opportunity page? Okay, yeah, definitely at the top. Now, path is really important because it's a lot of people really like it because it helps to visualize where you are on certain things. And you can create paths based on any pick list that you create in Salesforce. Any field that you create which has a drop down with options, you can build a path upon it. Now, another advantage of having path is that you can use it to give guidance to people as well. So for each stage, you can say, here are the key fields that relate to this stage. And then here is the guidance for my salespeople. This is what they should be doing at each stage. Now, you get it as standard on a lead and an opportunity record because stage effectively is a drop-down list. Lead status is also a drop-down list. And you'll see you have key fields for each stage on the left and then the guidance on the right. Back in the day, we used to make nasty formula fields to tell salespeople what to do when they were working on stages. And these days we don't have to anymore. So the benefits of having guidance for success is that if you're new and you're still finding your way around, it's a good way to do it. But also for those people who've been selling a while, it's like a refresher and kind of it gives them a nudge to make sure that they're completing certain jobs at certain times. Now, some sales teams go a bit further and they actually make people tick boxes to say that they've completed this stuff, just to drive those behaviors. Works for some. For other people, they just get into a habit of tick, 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 and then move on. And you've got no way of knowing that they've actually done that piece, done what you want them to do. You just know that they tick the boxes. So obviously, just creating this stuff in Salesforce is one part of the challenge. The second part of the challenge is actually getting people to understand why it's important, and also to help people who are making decisions on the information that you collect about opportunities, that they understand how relevant that information really is. And often I have people come up to me and say, Gemma, can you just do some tick boxes? And I go, why do you think you need a tick box? Oh, well, I need to track this and I need to track the other. Well, it's useless if people aren't going to fill it in. So how are you going to get them to fill it in? Well, I'm going to tell them it's part of their job. No, I understand that. But secondly, do you want people to use the system? Because if they've got too much to do to set up an opportunity, they're just not going to bother, or they're going to be late putting their stuff in. I'm late with my timesheets all the time. And the reason I'm late with my timesheets is because I've got to log in. I've then got to find the right project. If I'm not on the project, I've got to get assigned to it. Then I've got to put my timesheet in. I've got to remember how many hours I did. And then I've got to put in notes, detailed notes explaining exactly what I did so that my customer can report back to their customer on exactly what was done. And this is why I made the decision to stop selling hours as a consultancy. It's important for me internally to know how the time was spent, but I don't need to pass that on to a customer. I don't want to give my customers the additional job of having to approve timesheets. Anyway, I'm going off on one. But my point is around adoption. Whenever you build this stuff, it's very exciting to build drop-down lists. It's exciting to build paths. It's exciting to build reports and guidance for success and everything else. But actually, as I said, that is half the battle. You've got to be, when you design this stuff, you've got to be thinking about how is the information going to get in there? What decision is going to be made based on that information? How can I make it very, very, very easy for salespeople to fill that in? Does the salespeople actually have to fill it in? Could I make the system do it automatically so that those guys get their reporting and these guys are happy just filling in bits and bobs here? And are there any other systems that might need to know about this data? Am I collecting a VAT registration number for a company that actually they're going to need to make a sales contract? Those are all the sorts of things that your brain has to be thinking about when you design these solutions. So we use the path to update a record status, and we click the status and we mark it as complete to move it to the next step on the path. And it's really easy to do that. And actually, you can. There's other ways that you can as an admin, stop people going back or going forward on a deal, depending on behaviors and rules, etc. So we looked at Kanban last week. Do you remember we had our opportunities and we looked at them all based on stage, and we had a summarized amount across all the opportunities. And we had some warnings as well for opportunities where nothing had happened with them yet. So I'm not going to dwell too long on this one. We picked up Get Cloudy and we dropped it into value proposition last week. Here it's being represented on this page. And then we added a chart to our list view as well. And that got everybody a little bit excited because we were able to look at our pipeline by account. And we were able to change what type of chart we had. We were able to filter the view. We were able to change it. So this module is just talking all about that. And if you aren't up to date, please go back to one of week 2. I think it's the first session we did in week 2 that covers all of this, so you can have a go yourselves. Let's have a look at this quiz. So I'm going to go incognito just to get the quiz. And we're going to do the quiz together. Okay. So, question number 1. Do you accept cookies? Yes. Real question number 1. What is not a valid way to update the status of a lead? A, click mark status as complete in path. Remember, it's not a valid way. B, click the desired step on the path, then mark the current status. C, view the lead record, click edit and change the status field. D, change the Kanban settings group by to status and drag the record to a different column. Or E, in any list view, click shuffle to change up every record status. Okay, question 2. You have a dozen open opportunities from different companies, but when you check the Kanban view of all of your open opportunities list, you only see opportunities for one account. What should you do? A, panic. Yeah, exactly. B, select a different list view, such as recently viewed. C, check the filter panel to see if records are being filtered out. D, use the search box to search for the opportunities that went missing. You could try. E, try to attract more opportunities by leaving a bowl of sweets on your desk overnight. Okay, yes, I agree with you. I think it definitely E. Okay, so when you check the Kanban view for all of your open opportunities, you see them for one account. That to me tells me that it's probably filtered by that single account. So I think it's likely to be C. When you're ready, just click check challenge. And let's see the confetti. Hannah, I'll pick it up with you offline, babes. We'll look at it together. Anyone passed that one yet? I think for question 1, which is not a valid way to update the status of a lead. Yay, well done, Betsy. She got confetti. You can change it. Yeah, okay. So basically, no, you can figure that one out yourselves. I'm not telling you the lesson. I'm not telling you the answer. Okay. We have, where are we? We have 45 minutes left to do this other badge that we're going to look at. So let's take a look at the next module, which I have earmarked for us. That one is called, what we're going to do is it will search for Sales Cloud Productivity Best Practices. So this is again from the perspective of an end user. I'm going to get you guys configuring pretty soon. I just want you guys to understand what's going on first before we start diving into the config. I think for homework, I might actually get you just setting up some data this week. La, 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 la. Right, let's have a go at this one then. So this is called Sales Cloud Productivity Best Practices, and I will link it for you. Don't forget that I will link this into the next to the recording. So if you're following along via the recording, the link will be underneath the session on the homework page. Okay, so this is all about how sales teams can actually really be productive with Salesforce. Quick wins, shortcuts, quick text, macros, all of the things that help people to get work done quicker so that they can spend more time selling and less time doing admin. It's the number one complaint we get from salespeople is, oh, I don't want to use this, I've got all this admin to do. You know, why can't I just, you know, it's all in my head, it doesn't need to be anywhere else. Well, actually, it's important to leave a good paper trail behind you. So let's look at ways we can help our salespeople be a bit more productive. So this is all about kind of setting goals. If you have Salesforce and you've been customizing it for your reps, you're actually wondering how you can do a little bit more with it. And with sales, sales jobs come with targets. In America, they're known as quotas. And making your quota is an important part of keeping your job generally in sales, no matter where you are. Most people have a target on their back in order, and it's meeting those targets that, first of all, enables the business to run so that it can employ your product people, your HR, your finance, your leadership teams, all of those people. But also, because if you're in sales, generally you like the thrill of the chase. You like the healthy competition, the friendly competition. You like understanding people's motives for why they might want to buy something, but also you get to go and talk to people all day. So it's like your extrovert's favorite job. And to make those numbers, your reps have to basically prove that they're making progress every day, rather than what we have seen many times, having not much happening throughout the month, and then right at the end of the month, because they've got a target to hit by the end of that month, you just see a flurry of activity, a lot of deals coming in, because they're in a good position to offer discounts because it's the end of the month, for example. The path to hell is paved with good intentions, though. It still happens. So what we're trying to encourage with Salesforce is good behaviors throughout the whole month. I actually think also it's not just about the sales behavior, it's buying behavior as well. Some customers know they'll get a better deal at the end of the month. Other customers don't have any budget until the start of a new year. So there are lots and lots of different factors. And what we try and encourage is people to set goals for themselves. And to actually share those goals publicly. So when salespeople share their goals in dashboards and they talk about them on Chatter, they're actually having constructive conversations with people across the whole organization about how they can meet those targets, and it just keeps them accountable. If salespeople think that that nobody else has got their eye on them, there's no incentive for them to really carry on adding information and actively selling every day. So what you can do for productivity is have your reps create a dashboard with their goal for the day. And this is a typical example of what a dashboard is. Remember last week we looked at how you could add different charts. And this really kind of gets salespeople going, or especially if they're driven by numbers as well. I mean, I like statistics as much as anybody else. We used to have a game at my old place where if you completed certain activities, you'd get some points. So then I pretty much lived in this dashboard, just trying to look at all the points going up. I really enjoyed it. But a typical sales dashboard might be a team leaderboard, so you can see who's getting the most amount of money in that month, looking at your closed business that's relative to your target. Remember, you can set a target on your homepage as well. Looking at your pipeline, seeing how much you've got coming through the sales cycle, looking at the number of opportunities that you've got and the amount of activity that you're positioning. And the idea of having this kind of dashboard is so that as a salesperson, when you're having meetings with your boss and you're looking at what you're working on right now, this transparency is there. So your boss is seeing the exact same things that you're seeing and you can get this dashboard out and have it drive your discussions. And it means that if you're a salesperson, you're sitting with your boss and you need some help somewhere, you're able to kind of explain, I'm having issues with this opportunity. It's stuck in discovery stage. I'm really struggling on how I can engage with this customer. You can click into it and have a look at it in more detail and come up with a strategy of different tactics that you can try to progress that opportunity on. So we actually talk a lot to customers about using these dashboards, not just as a KPI reporting tool, but actually to fuel conversations, like productive conversations that lead to a drive in and a change in behavior for the better. So show your opportunities the right reps to focus on, the right opportunities to focus on. You can list the deals that are close to closing. You could look at creating a dashboard that shows deals that are at risk that could slip into the next month. And you can create a list view of top deals. Personalize their homepage. Remember, we put the target in there so that when you log on to the homepage, you can see your graph and its relationship to your target. And if you want to know a little bit more about that, then there is some more resources on that Trailhead badge. Now let's go and do this quiz. It's not particularly interesting, that one. Anyway, hopefully that's helped just to set the scene as to why we would use this kind of stuff. So when is it most important for sales reps to make progress towards meeting their quotas? A, the first day of the quarter, B, the last day of the quarter, C, the last week of the quarter, or D, every single day? Okay, 2, how can you make reps make the most of each sales day? A, give all sales reps the exact same homepage. B, encourage reps to work the first deal that they see. C, give each rep a list view of their 5-star opportunities. And have D, have reps take time off to save their strength for the end of the quarter. Okay, hopefully you have all pressed check challenge and got that one right. Okay, next module is all about automation. So half the battle with, yeah, exactly, all of the things. So one of the best things you can do for salespeople as well, and remember, this is all about principles rather than technical teaching. This is about why you would do these things, which is just as important as learning the platform itself. And if you're talking to customers about Salesforce, these are some of the key productivity gains that you want them to see. So automate as much as you can. You can automate by automatically creating tasks for sales reps to follow. So, for example, you get to value proposition. There's something that you want every single rep to do for every single deal, like they have to create the customer in the ERP system, or you want them to send through a brochure, for example. Then actually, why do you want to make a salesperson go through those steps every single deal when actually you can have those go out automatically? So one of the things you can do is automate discount approvals. If you've got a rep who wants to offer a customer a discount, but you still need that control over what discounts go out the door, because salespeople discount to God knows what rate. One, you can track the amount of discount by looking at a deviation from list price. So when you add a product, for example, a product might have a standard price. If you see the sales rep selling it at a different price, you can actually create a formula field that says, okay, they're discounting this from the normal price by about 50%. And then you can actually tell Salesforce to go, okay, if we've got a naughty salesperson who's discounting by 50%, then it has to go off to a senior vice president for approval before they can send the quote out or progress the opportunity. You might also want to send it to a different person, so a regional vice president or a VP for like 50% discount, but let's say if they give 10% discount, that's okay. You can have the approval process self-approve, so for that situation. Or if they want to discount by 25%, then you could have it just go to their immediate line manager for approval. So there's all kinds of different rules that you can automate in Salesforce. Approval processes are specifically designed for that scenario. Timesheets is another example. Someone puts a timesheet in, it has to go off to a project manager for approval before it can be billed to a customer. We would use approval processes for that. So then we have travel. So if you travel a lot, you could approve travel plans. So if someone says they need to go and stay in Edinburgh for the weekend, and they want to know if they can go and stay in a 5-star hotel, like £700 a night, you might not want to approve that, right? That's a cost that you can't recover unless you sell that deal. So you can actually set Salesforce up so that managers can tap approve or reject in response to any emails or chatter posts that they get from reps. And then you can give guidance as well. So you can automate that guidance through Sales Path and Guidance for Success, and effectively outline your best practice sales process as well. You can also customize Sales Path for different teams. Let's say you've got the same sales, you've got exactly the same sales process, but you want it to say different things based on what team it is. You can actually do that. You can make a different path for each one, and you just need to be sensible about how you label them so that you can see which process goes with which team. You can also change what pages people see as well. And then it's important as well that when people are using Salesforce, it's not just used as a database to go and dump data into. It's actually used as a coaching tool, and it helps them to become better salespeople, better practitioners. One of the ways to do that is the dashboard. Another way to do that is with Sales Path and the Guidance for Success. But there are also automations that you can put up, like in-app notifications. You can have the system yell at them for certain things, and eventually it becomes more important to them to avoid being yelled at, because they've learned that if they do this, then the system shouts at them. So there is also something else that you can do. So this Trailhead badge talks about getting a subscription to Quotable, which is a digital magazine. It gives selling advice. It's created by Salesforce, so you'll hear from various different people about their experiences. So you can actually have, okay, nice little sales pitch there, Salesforce, well done. So you can receive a newsletter for your sales reps and help them to get better. Another really key one, I'm going to show you this for real, actually, because I have in my own Salesforce, which is automatically associating emails with records in Salesforce. And typically a lot of organizations use Outlook and Microsoft Office 365, or they use Gmail. For my particular business, I use Gmail, so I have a Gmail, let me just check I've not got anything weird going on in my email. I can actually synchronize my calendar events and my email. I think my connection's great. Curse of the demo. Just as I'm about to show it to someone, it's bloody broken. Never mind. Okay, maybe I can't show you that. I'll just see if I can show you in my other thing. Oh, it's because I'm incognito. Let me see if I can do that. There's an easy way to synchronize all of your emails with Salesforce as well. So you'll see here that if you link Office 365 Exchange or Gmail, You can synchronize all of your tasks, contacts, and your calendar events as well. And this is best practice, because if I don't sync my data, how are my people going to know who I'm meeting, how they're going to be able to track the activity? That sales activity dashboard is basically going to be blank, which is rubbish. No one wants that, especially when, you know, it's that whole idea of being hit by a bus again. Nobody knows what meetings have been held, and nobody knows what was discussed in those meetings. So it's really important to leave a good trail behind. I think my Salesforce has actually uploaded now, so I'm going to just bring this over here and show you very quickly. So if I go to I'm going to go to this Calendly. So I've got a meeting with this this lady, and I'm going to log the email in Salesforce. So this is a little widget I've got that links it to Salesforce. And what I can do here is go to link it to an account, or I can link it to a case or a campaign or a contact or a lead or an opportunity, anything else that I've got in here really. And you'll notice I've got my own custom things in here as well. So I've got projects and I've got contracts and orders and things like that. So if I want to do that, I might log this against, and I can choose which contact I want to log it against. So I'm just going to log this against myself and then save it. And now if I want to see, you notice how it's added that. If I want to see what that looks like in Salesforce, all I have to do is just click here and say, show this record in Salesforce. Now that only took me one click for me to do that directly from my email, and it was very, very little setup involved as well. Really, really easy. So it means that I can just go, here's my my message, whoopsie, and I can see the event is automatically there, and I can see it's related to my record in Salesforce. And you get the same functionality if you link up with Outlook as well. So it's a really big productivity saving for salespeople. Somebody got a question. Let me have a look. Oh, someone likes that. Okay, cool. Glad you like it, Kat. So I think we've covered that one. So we talked about setting goals, automating everything. Let's go and have connecting email to Salesforce. So we talked about that, and obviously anything that you connect to Salesforce will show up in your activity timeline as well, which is really cool, and you'll be able to see it using the Salesforce Mobile App. Whenever you make things easier for people to do, then you will get a lot of thanks for it. And as consultants, what we're trying to do is push the needle on how you understand what these requirements are by actually empathizing with your end users, especially if you've got 50 odd salespeople, and they all want to use, you want them to use this system. The first thing they're going to do is complain that they've got to use it. So how can you make that better? You can actually spend time understanding what makes them tick, what makes them angry, what makes them sad, about what makes them happy, what makes them think, wow, that's really cool. You know, throughout their day-to-day job, how can we make their job easier to do? And we spend a lot of time mapping out those needs and those desires, and then so that we can actually build a really good experience for them that's based on alleviating pains and uplifting the gains. Somebody got a question. Oh, Hannah's back. Okay, Hannah, I thought you ditched me. Just like, screw this. Okay, let's have a look at the challenge then, and let's do a little quiz. So, number one, what can you automate in Salesforce to save rep time? A, contract negotiations. B, discovery calls. C, hiring new sales reps. Or D, discount approvals. Question two. Okay, we've got some answers coming through. Yeah. Question two, which email systems can you connect to Salesforce? A, Office 365 Exchange and Gmail. B, Office 365 Exchange and Lotus. C, Office 365, Hotmail and Lotus Notes. D, Gmail, Yahoo and AOL. Okay, yeah, a couple of answers there. Okay, so you want to hit check challenge and see the confetti fall. I'd be very worried if any of you selected any of the responses with Lotus Notes. Although, believe it or not, when I was at IBM, as recently as 6 months ago, we were using a web version of Lotus Notes. We even used it for holiday requests until quite recently. So, and if you're not familiar with that, yeah, I know. If you're not familiar with that, Lotus Notes is now kind of an ancient email application that no one ever uses anymore unless you work for IBM. I don't mind being on the record for that. Okie dokie. Next one. I think we'll probably finish off with this. Well, we'll see how we get on. Okay, so how do you actually give your reps something to work on? Your salespeople are going to be hacked off if they're not given good quality leads to work on. There's nothing more disheartening if any of you have ever worked in a telemarketing company or a call center where you're just phoning up customers cold and trying to offer them a product and they just get sworn at, or the phone gets slammed down, or no, I'm not interested. This is where marketing is important, because of the leads that are generated from those marketing activities. Your reps will feel far more motivated if they are focusing on the best leads. So if you're a sales rep and every morning you make a list of local companies you think that could make great leads, and you drive to each one to make the sales, sometimes you arrive and find the company's gone out of business, or maybe worse, that they're actually already a customer, which makes things really awkward. Believe it or not, that is exactly what's happening to one of my customers. They have conferences and they have subscriptions, and the people who the people who run the conferences are meeting these customers and are not actually aware that they're already customers. So they're talking to them, about products, trying to sell them stuff, and then that person is saying, well, actually, I already have that. That does make it awkward, because you should know what those people have bought and be able to change the tone of your conversation and tailor it according to what that customer has and what they need, or at least try and identify any additional need around that. So we're working with that company to change all of that, because that's a very real problem for them. So to find the best leads to pursue, you have got to base your decision on solid data. And there are so many different tools out there that generate leads, and there are so many different tools out there that score leads. Salesforce actually does have a lead capture and scoring application, which is called Pardot, which is another learning path that if you wanted to learn Pardot, if you're interested in marketing, you just have to let me know and I can get someone to come and help you with that training once we've covered the basics. But your Salesforce org, just remember, actually gives you an awful lot of insight about what you win, what you don't, and why. And it's pretty standard that we end up, okay, Betsy, I'll pass that on, thank you. It's pretty standard that that when we implement Salesforce, one of the first things that we do that for every customer is to create a reason lost field or a reason won field. Okay, or I'll arrange for that as well for you. And that is really important, because we have to understand, if we're losing a lot of deals because of price, maybe we need to consider putting our prices down. If we're losing a lot of deals because of coronavirus, not really a lot you can do about that, but at least you can track it. At least you can track the effect of the coronavirus outbreak on your sales pipeline. And it means that you can adjust your figures as well. And that when you run your sales reports next year, and you look at year-on-year growth, you'll obviously have a growth, but you'll know that during March and April and May, you probably couldn't rely on that data because everybody was sick around the world and self-isolating. Some businesses have been really affected by this. So you can set up things like lead scoring. You could, if you're tracking whether a customer's got the budget, whether you're speaking to people with the right level of authority, how much they need your product and the timing of it, you could create a little table here. So this is just you could create a pick list a pick list for each of these. So you could have a budget and then a score level, an authority and then a score level, and you just have reps kind of populate those fields. Then you can add them all together and come up with a score. And that means that you could also then in your list views, remember last week when we looked at list views, you could put in a filter criteria that says only show me leads where the score is 8 or above. And what it means is, and that works really well where you've got a sales organization that's kind of siloed, where you've got marketing getting leads in, you've got business development qualifying them in or out, so the conversion piece. Then you've got a rep taking over the opportunity and progressing it all the way through. That's the kind of scenario where I think you would need this. Other scenarios are if you have where marketing is responsible for bringing more leads in, and marketing is having those initial calls and being able to look at some kind of click behaviors for certain emails that are sent out. You can look at whether someone's downloaded a white paper. You can actually go down to the level of where was their mouse on the website, and therefore does that strengthen the value of that lead to me. There's all kinds of little tricks out there that can help you score the value of a lead. So in this instance, what they're suggesting is you create a pick list for each factor. You create a field to track the score. So you basically create a numeric formula field to display the score. I wouldn't necessarily do it that way. I would probably have a big nasty if, maybe I would actually. Create a formula field for the total score, and then you could actually give it an image. You could use a text field to display an image, like with a 5 stars image, if you wanted to. So let's have a little go at the quiz. So question 1, what is a lead score? A, something you share with prospects that says how much you like them. You could do that. I once worked with a medical insurer, and we had a pick list full of emojis where we could say this is how our patient is feeling right now about this treatment, or about their authorization, or about their illness, etc. So that when the medical insurance company phoned them up, they would know how sensitive to be based on certain things, based on the customer's sentiment about certain things. So B, a tool that enables sales reps to make informed decisions about how to prioritize the leads they pursue. C, a grade assigned to a rep based on how well they worked a new lead. You could try that. Just watch all your salespeople leave. D, a way of scoring how many new leads sales reps bring in. Question 2, what are the best factors to score incoming old or young? Oh dear. B, how long it takes to drive to their headquarters. C, if you've heard of the company before. D, various factors based on which leads have historically closed or not closed at your organization. Yeah, Kat. That's actually a really cool thing about Trailhead, is that it's designed to have a few quirky, funny answers in, so that it's not just boring old software training. It's designed to give you a little bit of a laugh. Okay, hopefully you've all passed that section. Let's have a look at Einstein. How many of you have heard about AI? Yeah, exactly. It's gamification, keeps you interested. If any of you have ever seen the Matrix movies, Lawrence Fishburne talks a lot about how we marveled at the turn of the century. We marveled at our greatest accomplishment as we gave birth to AI. Well, AI is actually, believe it or not, very much in your daily life right now. You think about, if any of you have got Amazon Echo Dots. Okay, Kat wrote her thesis on AI. Betsy, I'll take a look at your question about Einstein certified professionals shortly. AI is in your phone, it's on Facebook, it's on your Echo Dot. How many of you have logged into Facebook and seen ads and you think, oh my God, that's a bit suspicious. How do they know I like that? I was really hacked off when I turned personalized ads on because I was getting plus size dresses sent to me, and I was really hacked off. I was like, excuse me, are you looking at my photos and thinking, yes, you're fat, here's some fat girl dresses for you? Turned out it was. But also there's sometimes my phone comes up with suggestions based on things I've said as well. Now you can switch all that off, but AI is all about using technology called natural language processing to understand you better, if you like. Yes, and it uses algorithms to listen to to look at data, analyze data that's already there, and to learn about patterns in that data, so that it can then go ahead and produce insights, or it can make suggestions to you, etc. So Kat will be able to tell you more about that because she's actually done her thesis on AI, which is fantastic. Now, Salesforce Is Ai Technology is called Einstein. They have licensed Albert Einstein's name because it is all about Salesforce being smart and being able to make recommendations. Jeremy asked, is Einstein IBM's Watson rebranded by Salesforce? No, IBM Watson is slightly different to Einstein. The two of them can work together. There is some information on Trailhead about the difference and how they work together as well, which I can link to in the resources. IBM Watson and Einstein, I'll do that. But also there's different ways that the Einstein architecture manifests itself. No problem, Jeremy. Within Salesforce, you've got various different versions. You've got Einstein Analytics, which is the fancy reporting. If any of you like reporting, it's basically Salesforce's attempt to do is Salesforce's contribution to the business intelligence market. Based on the data that's in Salesforce. We also have Einstein Discovery. We also have Einstein Prediction Builder. And we also have Einstein for Sales and Service Cloud as well, including Activity Capture, which is kind of a bit, it's like your email and calendar synchronization on steroids. It gets really smart about an email coming in, links it into the contact, and can can help you to keep on top of opportunities. So there's a lot of demand on today's sales reps. In fact, 89% of executives believe that sales reps miss their opportunities. They can't keep up with their information all the time. So Einstein is actually a way to help salespeople to do that, because there's so much data that we collect all the time about us, especially if we're using Salesforce properly and we're logging all our tasks and we're putting all our opportunities in. We actually have, what do you actually do with all this insight? You can produce reports and stuff, but then how do you know what that report's telling you? You can hire some data scientists and get them to all figure it out, but Einstein's been developed to do that job directly within Salesforce. So I'm going to just show you the demo for this because I think you might find it very interesting.
Sales Cloud Einstein helps you sell smarter by making intelligent predictions and recommendations about your deals. Leads are automatically scored, and lead insights reveal the top factors behind every score, so you can prioritize the best leads first. Predictions and alerts let you know how your opportunities are trending and whether your forecasted deals are likely to close. Get recommendations on next steps that have the best chance of winning the deal. And because it's built in Lightning, you get all these insights from anywhere, on any device. Data from Salesforce automatically appears in your email and calendar, while your email and calendar entries appear in Salesforce, where you can decide how to share the information. saving you time, generating better insights, and getting you back to what you do best, selling. The world's #1 CRM is now the world's smartest CRM with Sales Cloud Einstein.
Boom, go buy it. So you're probably thinking that is a very high level sales demo, but it does say in a nutshell what it's like to have that. So you can get the activity related insights. So if a contact mentions a competitor or is leaving, you can actually have that relevant news pushed to your sales reps. And as your sales reps go through the sales process, it can capture the activity automatically, as you saw in the video. So you can choose who you want to share that information with as well. Let's have a little look at the quiz then. So question number 1, what's the best way to add artificial intelligence to your Salesforce org? A, find and hire a team of data scientists. B, spend the next several quarters dedicated to historical analysis so you can do it yourself. Great, you could do that. Plenty of people hire these people to do it, to be honest, right now. C, you can enable it in minutes with Einstein. D, don't worry about intelligence. Trial and error eventually works. I like that. Question number 2, which of the following isn't included with Sales Cloud Einstein? A, the ability to automatically connect emails and meetings to the right Salesforce records. B, insights related to activities, like if a contact's leaving their company. C, the ability to suggest email templates and call scripts based on contact pattern analysis. D, insights related to potential merger and acquisition talks. This is where it gets quite specific. The question says Sales Cloud Einstein. Okay, hopefully you have all passed that quiz now. How are we doing for time? Yeah, in the last 9 minutes, let's do boosting productivity with mobile, and then I shall let you all go away and digest that information and get started on your homework. So let's boost productivity with mobile. So if any of you have got smartphones, please do have a look in your app store for the Salesforce Mobile App. You can connect this mobile app to your Trailhead playground if you want to. All you have to do is use your login details. Now, as you spin up this playground, you won't know your password, so you'll have to reset your password. So I wouldn't do it right now, but we'll do it later on. Logging in to Salesforce is half the battle. So we're going to do that next time when we look at users. But everybody can have Salesforce on their phone for free. It's completely included. So I wonder if I could actually show this to you. There's a clever way of doing it through QuickTime. I'm going to go into my other org, Trust. Okay. And if I mess it up this time, don't worry, I will make my own notes for next time so that I don't mess it up next time. Okay. I think it's QuickTime. Player. Come on. Yeah. No, I'll figure it out for next time rather than wasting time. So once upon a time, only field sales needed to do stuff on their phone, but now everybody's lives are centered around their phone. You've only got to look at all the conversations that have gone on around the virus and how phones are so dirty because they're the thing we use the most, etc., etc. As I said, turning on the mobile app is really easy. They just have to install it, and then the app inherits every bit of configuration that you set up in your org. So it will bring up all your path. It'll bring up any actions that you've created. It will bring up any reports and dashboards that you've done. And if you've got anything off the App Exchange, it will also bring those in too. And anything that you change in the data through your mobile app will be subject to the same automations that you have if you experience Salesforce through your desktop. So, but the whole point around mobile is that people want to do things quickly. They don't want to be stood there for ages tapping out things. So mobiles are a really great thinking about a rollout strategy for mobile is really, really important, because you want to make it as quick and simple as possible for them to log a phone call. You want them to you want to make it as quick and simple as possible for them to create a new opportunity or a new lead or something. I was at a user group last month. Someone came up and said, Gemma, I really want to do non-profit starter pack. Can we have a conversation tomorrow? So in order to get her details, I set up a new lead in my Salesforce app on my phone, and with a name, phone number, email address. You know, whether it would convert or not, I don't know, but at least I have her details in there, and I can track the conversations that we've had and convert if I think I'm going to be able to help her. So turning it on, we just enable the Salesforce mobile browser app, and then ask your people to download it from the App Store, and off they go. So, but in order to do that, you've got to think about how your strategy is going to make your people more productive, because you could just switch on mobile and everyone would ignore it and they wouldn't even know it's there. So think about which users you could engage to actually use the app and to give you feedback about how to make it better and how to make those moments quicker, because those are the people that you need buy-in from. And you want to try and be careful about who you select to be those super users. Try and pick people who are innovative, they like tech, or they are well regarded around the team. They're people who can influence the rest of the users. And secondly, you've got to make sure that you tell people that mobile is coming. We tell customers all the time, communication has to start right from the beginning. And all too often we see projects fail because, or we see adoption levels fail. We can spend months building this beautiful system, and then the minute it goes live, people go, huh? Because you've not told them about it. You've got to tell them about it as early on as possible and build up some excitement around it. And in British culture, that's kind of hard to do, right? How excited do you want to be about, you know, or conservative cultures generally, how excited do you want to get people around an IT system, but without looking like an enormous idiot? But it does work. It really does work. If you start to build up some of the excitement around it, then people will use it and they know it's coming straight away. You can even get people to test drive little bits of it and take part in the testing. Oh, in British culture, we're quite cynical. It's like, you want us to do that? Yeah, okay, whatever. Like this guy I was talking to earlier, he was really creeped out by my teddies. My teddies are all Salesforce teddies. He's like, why do you love Salesforce so much? I'm like, don't care, I'm happy. So use your tools, help people become more productive. You can have there's a view on mobile and in desktop that's called To Do or Today. So it will help set up sales reps for their whole day, especially if they're syncing their calendar. You can bring in news. It's US-based news, but you can they can check up on the news for all of their, and it's curated for their accounts that they own and look after. And you can bring in, as you can see here, you can bring in some pretty important financial news to help shape those conversations when you go in and speak to customers. If you like to make notes, you can actually create your meeting notes. You can prepare for meetings with those notes features. And also, by the way, it works for iPad as well. And you can use Chatter. I use Chatter all the time to talk to my team if I'm not using WhatsApp. And it means that you can actually talk about individual opportunities. You can attach files. You can attach photos if you really want to. And then we have finally Salesforce A, which is great for administrators. You can reset passwords and unlock users and stuff all from your phone, which is really important. We never used to have that. You used to have to rely on being sat at your desk to do that. So yeah, so Quiz question number 1. Who should you deploy the Salesforce mobile app to? A, executives. B, your admin team. C, field sales reps. Or D, your entire team. Question number 2. Which tool helps you plan your day? By cross-referencing your calendar with all of the information stored in Salesforce. Question A, today. B, news. C, notes. D, chatter. And Betsy smashed it. Well done. Okay, looking good, everybody. So I think that's the last module. So now you should all have a shiny new badge for your profile. So please go ahead and tweet out your achievement and be very proud of yourselves. Mostly today was about engaging your brain and thinking about best practices and what's the right way to do things, what's the questions you should be asking, and why does this mean, why is this CRM system so important to sales organizations and to productivity. Hopefully you'll now come away with a better understanding of that. And we are, and really from my perspective, this is the end of the front stage training at this point. I want to take you backstage after this session. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you understand it better. And if you have any questions, please come to the questions tab and ask all the questions that you want to ask on the Google site. Yeah, backstage is where it's at. Thank you everybody for coming. I really appreciate your time. Take care now.